Most of those shows that were a part of the yesteryear of television, they came out of Norman Lear's company, and that there were shows that were a part of Norman Lear's network. And when I say network, I'm talking about the producers that were under Norman Lear or worked with Norman Lear, like Bud Yorkin and Sal Turtletub. Those were the guys that worked with Norman Lear, and they branched off and did their own thing. Case in point, Bud Yorkin did What's Happening, and they stole that from Eric Monty. And What's Happening was a an adaptation from Cooley High. Now, according to Ernest Thomas, who played Raj on What's Happening, um, they did a pilot for Cooley High, but it was just too raw and too gritty that the network really didn't green light it. So they were allowed to go back and retool it, and it became What's Happening. Now, according to Eric Monty, and this is an interview I watched many moons ago on TV Land, Eric Monty said that What's Happening was a white people's Cooley High. And he called it a white people's Cooley High was because there's really no Cochise character in there. And Eric Monty said that they didn't put a Cochise in a What's Happening was because at that time those network execs, and yes, despite the fact that the Civil Rights Bill was passed and that television was starting to be more and more integrated, so to speak, they were cognizant and they were sensitive that not everybody got on the integration train, i.e. the South. So they didn't really want America during the 70s, particularly white girls, to be swooning over a black Lothario. So if you watch What's Happening, and this ain't a knock at the three actors of What's Happening, I do like them and everything, and I have no problems with them. But if you do watch that show, those three characters, they were the most non-threatening as possible. They were the most non-threatening people as possible. You had Raj, that was, pretty much an idealistic kind of studious kind of person, i.e. nerd to some people. I mean, he wasn't a traditional nerd. He was social. He did date. He wasn't no outcast or nothing, but they made him in a way where he was perfect, but he wasn't to the point where he was gonna be threatening, and white girls were gonna all of a sudden put posters on their wall of Raj or whatnot. Then we have Dwayne, who is shy and quiet and unassuming. And then we come to Rerun. Rerun was the big rotund dancer, very quick, very agile for somebody of his size. And he still got women, but, pretty much the Rerun character was used as a source of laughs. And particularly the laughs would come at his expense. It would come basically because of his weight. They made a lot of fat jokes about Rerun, and to a degree, Mama and Shirley. If you watch those episodes, there were a lot of fat jokes about them. So therefore, you had three male characters that were non-threatening. None of them were Cochise. And another side note was apparently Rerun was originally supposed to be a white character. And that white character would have been a Cochise type. That would have been somebody that the ladies would have swooned over and whatnot. So when it came to certain black shows, they made sure that the black character that they had on there wouldn't fit that role of a Lothario, a crazy, and a very handsome and attractive Lothario type, because they knew that they just weren't going to have black girls swooning over this black male character, but they didn't want to take the chance that white girls were going to swoon over that black male character too, because keep in mind, this was a different time, and this was way before cable became in vogue. So that's a quick little history on what's happening. A show that Norman Lear really didn't have anything to do with, but one of his associates had their hands in it because they were part of the same tribe, and I'm not really going to elaborate on that. For those of you that are smart and are good at picking up on certain things, you'll know what I mean by the word tribe.